Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if we can get better at understanding and sharing the feelings of others, especially with all the technology we use these days? Well, this new study dives right into that with the question, can digital tools actually make us more empathetic? So there is this idea that empathy, that ability to step into someone else's shoes and feel what they might be feeling is super important for everything from our personal relationships to how society functions. And while people have tried to boost empathy with things like role-playing and group discussions for a long time, this research wanted to see if our phones, computers, and even virtual reality headsets could do the trick. The researchers looked at a bunch of studies that use randomized controlled trials. Now, what is a randomized controlled trial? Think of it like this. They took a group of people, split them into 2 or more groups by chance. And one group got the digital empathy training while the other group either did something unrelated or a different kind of therapy. This way, they could see if the digital tool really made a difference compared to not having it or having something else. When they crunched all the numbers from 24 different studies involving over 3,000 adults, they found something interesting. On average, these digital interventions seem to give empathy a small boost. The p-value, that flukometer, was 0.006, which is pretty low, meaning it is unlikely that this positive result was just by random chance. So it looked like digital tools might actually help us become more understanding. But here is where it gets a bit more complicated. You know how sometimes studies that get really exciting results are more likely to get published. That can sometimes skew the overall picture. So the researchers did something called a trim and fill analysis to try and account for this. After doing that, the boost in empathy became much smaller, and importantly, it was no longer statistically significant. This suggests that the initial positive finding might have been a bit inflated because studies that found less exciting results might not have gotten published as easily. However, there was a glimmer of hope. When they looked only at studies that checked in with participants after the intervention was over, they found a small but significant positive effect. And this time, even after trying to adjust for publication bias, the result held up. This is important because it suggests that any positive effects we see might stick around over time. They also looked at the kind of control groups used in these studies. Some studies compared the digital intervention to something that wasn't really meant to be helpful, like just browsing the internet for fun. In those cases, the digital empathy tools did show a small, significant, and robust positive effect. But when they were compared to active control groups, meaning comparison groups that were also trying to be therapeutic in some way, the digital tools didn't show a significant advantage. This hints that maybe digital interventions are good, but perhaps not necessarily better than other helpful activities. So, what does all this mean? The overall picture is a bit mixed. It looks like digital interventions for boosting empathy in adults might have some potential, especially if we're just looking for any positive change, but they likely don't really beat out other helpful, real-world activities or therapies. And the initial bump might disappear when we account for the tendency for positive studies to get published more often. The discussion section really digs into why this might be. One idea is that empathy might be something that really needs that human touch. Think about it. Empathy is about connecting with others' emotions, and that often happens best in real face-to-face interactions. Digital tools, even with virtual reality, might struggle to fully replicate that genuine connection. The researchers suggest that maybe more advanced technology is needed, something that can interact with us more like a person and give us feedback as we try to practice empathy. It is a new field, and our current technology might just not be quite there yet to fully unlock the potential for digital empathy training. Things like virtual reality are promising, as the study mentioned, but still have mixed results. The researchers are really excited about the possibility of using things like machine learning to create tools that can understand our language and facial expressions and respond in real time. Imagine a digital coach that could give you tailored feedback on how you are expressing empathy. That could be a game changer. They also highlight the importance of deliberate practice and feedback. Just like learning a musical instrument or a sport, practicing empathy with guidance and constructive criticism could be key. Many digital tools might offer practice, but not enough targeted feedback to really help us improve. Now for the so what. Even though the results aren't a resounding yes, apps make us super empathetic, there are still important takeaways. Practically, digital tools could be amazing for reaching lots of people, especially where in-person help isn't available. But we need to innovate. We might need to blend digital tools with some human support. or make these digital experiences much more interactive and responsive to really make them work for empathy. It is also important to talk about the limitations of this kind of study. With meta-analyses, you are only as good as the research you can find. There weren't a huge number of studies that fit their criteria, so some of their analyses might not have been powerful enough to detect smaller effects. Plus, they noted that empathy itself is measured in so many different ways. And most studies rely on self-reports, which aren't always the most accurate. Sometimes people say they are more empathetic than they actually are. They wished more studies used objective measures like observing behavior, but there just weren't enough of those to compare. So, to wrap up, while digital interventions for empathy are still in their early days, the research shows they have potential. They might not be a magic bullet yet, but with advancements in technology, especially in interactive AI and personalized feedback, we could see these tools becoming really powerful in helping us all become more understanding and connected. I personally think this is such an exciting area. The idea that we can actively improve empathy and that technology might play a role is really inspiring, but the nuance here is key. It is not a simple download an app, become more empathetic. It is about how that technology is designed, whether it offers real interaction and feedback, and how it complements rather than replaces human connection. I am really eager to see how things like AI evolve to incorporate more of those human elements into digital experiences. What do you all think? Have you tried any digital tools to boost your empathy? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, give us a like and subscribe to Rubin's Mind Lab for more science made simple. See you next time.